I know a guy who collects candy canes, and they're all in mint condition. What's going on, YouTube? We are back inside of the Infinite Archive, recently rechanged inside of Apocrypha, to go over this brand new Tuesday vendor. The reason we go over Filler Ool, which is the craziest names I've ever heard of, is because he's got some really neat items. We've had normal golden items, which include furnishings, which include golden sets, but this guy brings something unique. Let's see what he's got for us. And for those of you who might not have been here before, he starts off with 2 legendary leads, which can be helpful because sometimes leads require you to go and pick up flowers for 20 hours to get a 5th of a mythical. So thankfully, you have the chance to get some 2 free leads every week. So this first one, which is the Etched Silver Horns, is going to give you access to a useless mythical that you don't want to get, probably. It's just one of those things where it's not good for light attacking. It's not good for DPS. Not good for PvP. You can. It looks cool though. I mean, that's got going for it. You know, if you want to shoot a bull at somebody, you know, you could do that, and that's what this mythic does. This next one is of a similar vein, where it's something that you probably aren't ever going to really grind for because it gives you access to a pet, a non-combat pet. I really dislike ESO's non-combat pets. I think, yes, they're cool to have them. I'd rather have them than not have them, but I'm certainly not going to pay archival fortunes for one of them. Next up, we have the Kjolnir's Shoulder. Now, as you might not know, you are able to buy this, but it is bound to you. So generally, if you want to buy the things here, you're buying it because you don't want to have to purchase it with your ESO gold, or you don't want to wait for it to come and have to grind for it. So Kjolnir's is worth a few $100,000. It's really not going to help save you a whole lot of money, but it is an option that you could have. It really goes well with those scarecrow type bone shoulder-esque things, but it's something that's not very expensive. So I would generally recommend saving this until we get a beefy monster set helmet, and the helmets are usually worth more than the shoulders. Next up, you can buy treasure maps for Green Shade. Green Shade is unfortunately not a zone where I would go, oh yeah, head on out to Green Shade and do all of your guys' overland treasure maps. Woo! Fortunately, not one of those. So this one's also going to be a skip, but you know, it could be worse. It could have been like Arteron. This one, though, is interesting. Companion equipment weapons. So these are also going to be bound to you. So unlike treasure maps, which the loot that you get from the treasure maps could be resold, this is going to be, if you want to deck out your companions, this is what you could do. Now, there's quite a few weapons here that you could roll for that are fairly decent. And because of that, I look at this and I go, this is probably a decent chance to get something good because there's only so many weapons, and generally most people are building theirs into tanks. So the odds of you getting a one-handed weapon that you could use to pair with a shield, you know, is probably fairly good. If you're trying to build a healer, your odds of getting a resto staff is at least decent. But it's one of those things that's a huge gamble because those pieces of companion gear that you need, that you're going to want on your companion, are going to be worth millions of gold. So you have to look at it as well as, do I really want to get this equipment? Am I okay with gambling it? And if you're okay with it, this is probably not a bad option for you to get. And then I just kind of skip through these. I mean, they look cool, don't get me wrong. I like books, but not something that I would necessarily suggest using archival fortunes on. In fact, if you're interested in books, let me know because I could do a whole video on how to get every book in ESO, because I actually have one in my library where I have every book essentially lined up that you can actually read. So fun fact, these are all readable books. The Cartographer's Vest, which you can get from the Masterfield Cartographer costume, is actually going to be pretty cheap to purchase these days. You can actually sell this to players. It's something that I wouldn't necessarily suggest that you farm. I'll put on the screen here if you're interested in farming it yourself. It's one of those things that you can see the appearance here. Obviously, it's not overriding my costume helmet, but it looks cool, but it's not something that's worth 7,000. Also, never worth any amount of money is a Tales of Tribute upgrade. No. And this last one is a face marking. To me, face markings probably not going to be worth this price point because this is what would be essentially half of a monster set helmet. Most monster set helmets on console are worth over 500 to a million gold, even if they're hot garbage and ugly. That's a good money saver versus collecting 20 of these to hope to be able to get a facial expression, you know, but put a little something on your face. Probably not worth it in the grand scheme of things. You're probably going to want to save it for these other things. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the video. What do you guys think of the Tuesday vendor? It's one of those vendors that I think is exceptionally cool because it adds something to the game that I feel like has always been missing, and that is a vendor that gives us more cool rotating stocks of items. And if you're watching this, ZeniMax, please add more vendors like this. Give us the ability to buy all sorts of random good things. You could add a weekly Telvar vendor, you know, that has really cool items in it with also things like leads and the ability to get cool items, maybe rare furnishings, you know, in addition to what you can get from there. Please just continue to add to this because I think it's always cool to talk about a rotating stock of items and think from a perspective of a buyer as well as a seller. And that is going to be the end of the video. If you did like it, we're still doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is participate in the Family Feud question so I can compile enough questions to challenge other people. And the second thing is, if you just be subscribed, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone. I just want to thank you guys for getting as close as we are. The third thing is a random word be flashed upon the screen for watching this video. It will be posted and it will be released in the next 3 days. If you're the first person to comment that word, you will win. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Family Feud question of the day. What is your favorite NPC guild? Let me know in the comments below what is your favorite, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.